Cody Collier, man. Welcome to the Mason-Dixon Race Report. I always look forward to this when it's round 8. I believe we're going on break after this. I was expecting a oh my God mud fest, but the photos don't back that up. Give us a lowdown on what it was like out there.
Yeah, no, sorry for the false alarm, everybody. But no, thanks for having me back. Excited for another show. But no, it's yeah, I thought it was going to be miserable, terrible mud. I was excited for it. You know me, I'm a mud rider. I was excited for the mud. It actually turned out to be pretty good. Like I said, it did have that clay base underneath, and a lot of the water rolled off into the bottoms. So the bottoms were nasty. There were definitely some deep parts of the track, and but I'd say 80% of it was super raceable. By the end of my race, if you could just cut the trees out of the way that were hanging from the mud we did throw on them, that we cleared off, I think it would have been a great racetrack.
So you're not allowed to prune trees as you go on your course walks, are you guys?
You're not allowed to move anything on the track.
Okay, but if it's above the track, what about that?
The tree itself is connected part of every. Oh, it's all one. It's all one.
Dude, there's got to be a technical deal in there somewhere so we can trim branches that will catch dirt and hang down in our face.
Run them over. That's about all you can do.
All right. If you say so, brother. Hey, all in all, it was a great weekend, I'm assuming.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it was Friday was miserable, super nasty, stormy all day long, and the sun was shining throughout most of the day Saturday. Didn't really come out until pretty much after the pro race, but it was still a warm, nice day of racing. Nice day of racing Saturday.
Overall turnout, did you get to hear any numbers, or was it a good turnout or not so good?
I'd say it's right where it should be. With all the rain we did get, probably scared a few people away, but the series is growing, so I'd say it would be right in the middle. Parking lots were packed. There's people stuck everywhere. The dozer was busy. Yeah, there's a lot of people there.
Wow. So on the little kids in the early AM race with the youth, there's some controversy going on. You and I don't know anything about what it is, but Eli McCrary from the second row got the overall with Jacob Smallwood coming in first in his row, but second overall. This is the second time this year you've told me about this.
I think it's the third or fourth that it's happened. I think there's been a couple times early in the year where at least they've been leading the race for podiums. They've definitely gotten several podiums, but yeah, they've been up in the mix. And as far as like the controversy, there's for some reason the points aren't listed with the results of the youth race. For all the other quad classes, all the points are listed except for the entirety of the youth race. So there's some protesting going on or something. So not sure where. I have no clue what. But.
Well, Stetson Owen probably still got the point lead, even though he was third in class, fourth overall, or wait a minute, he was fourth in class, but Bodie was second, so he still hasn't got himself on top of the box, even though he was third overall, second in class. You told me that young man is still developing in a front row rider. Look out, because if he's just developing, what are they going to do with him next year?
Yeah, no, he's definitely a standout rider this year. I don't know if he plans on staying or moving to the 250. I think the way he's developed this year, the 250 is not a bad idea for him, just for him to keep developing for the 450s. But no, he's definitely picked it up this year, proven himself to be a consistent podium runner. Definitely putting things together this year.
Yeah, dude, I'm impressed. His name's always up there, but Galata's name's up there. Stetson's up there. A few of those guys are just always there, and they're all going to transfer to a bigger class or a different age group, I'm assuming, soon.
Yeah. No, that's the front row of the youth. So that's your 12 to 15-year-old class. So most of the kids nowadays want to run at least 1 year on the 250, if not 2 or 3, depending on where they're at in their career. But you'll see a lot of kids run 2 years on the 250s before moving to the PM class. So a lot of times, a lot of kids move that front row when they're 12, race it when they're 12 and 13, and they'll move up to the 250 when they're 14 and 15. Some kids will stay back in youth for an extra year. Some kids will move up a year early. Just kind of depends on where you're sitting, what's right for you.
Totally get it. that's great that the turnout looked, when you look at the entries in that list, that's actually one of the first times that I've had to go to that page and it just goes on and on and on. There's a lot of kids in the racing out there, it's great for the sport of cross country racing. I'm glad to see it.
Oh, yeah, there's always at least 100 kids racing the national, if not 200-300 over at Ironman and everything. There's a lot of kids out here in the Midwest that race. So yeah, the youth of the sport strong, and that bodes well for the sport.
I got to talk to a young lady that's going to be on the show in a couple weeks, that was telling me that Texas has a cross country series. I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that.
I've heard of it. It's been a while since I've heard of it. I didn't know if it was still around or not.
Yeah, it's not what we would consider, it's a shorter version course that they cover multiple times, but dude, they're still out there doing it. It sounds more like a works race than a cross country race, but hey, they're developing riders to come out and race the GNCC nationals, and it's awesome.
No, for sure, for sure. Yeah, no, it's definitely different terrain out there from what I hear. My old 450 mechanic Matt Pierce with Pierce Performance. He's going out. He raced the Texas National when GNCC used to race out there. He said it was just like riding on the moon. It was just different.
Well, yeah, most of you guys, if you came out, anywhere past, the Mississippi, it'd be totally, nightmarish conditions for you, because I don't think we can go anywhere that's going to be like it is back east.
No, absolutely not. I've heard like Washington and Oregon get kind of close up there, or there is kind of somewhat closer.
Closer, but not the same, And then as soon as you get down into California, Nevada, Utah, I mean, it's totally foreign to you guys.
It's I mean, it's more or less like a big moto track, with less jumps to me. I've raced a couple works events myself.
I would love it. I'd like to see you out here on a sport quad and a works race. I think you'd do really well. I really do.
I think so too. No, we talked about the Havasu, the pro challenge that they had not too long ago. I almost
Right.
made up for that event. You're a big part in helping me find a ride for that. I think I would have done well. No, it's yeah. One of these days we'll be back out.
Next time when they have an event out here, you and I'll have to freaking brainstorm and figure something out to get you out here, on something, no matter what it is, right?
4 wheels and a motor. I'm good to go.
There we go. So talk to me a little bit about the Pro 4x4 class. By the way, Gavin Jenkins, this will air on Friday or Saturday. So check out Gavin's Jenkins episode on either our audio platforms, on your podcast platforms, or you'll be able to catch his episode on YouTube by that time. Not to toot his horn, but I got to speak with him. Pretty great dude. He was on Bench Prep Conversations last week. Interesting story, interesting background. I think another great guy for this sport.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Gavin's a good friend of mine. He lives 20 minutes from me. Actually raced him as his first ever pro race at a local race. Me and him raced together, so you might have to ask him about that. But no, he's been around. He's raced at a high level for a long time. He's really starting to come into his own in the 4x4 pro class this year. Hardworking dude, owns his own heating and cooling company. Yeah, dude, good dude. Go check him out.
Right. That's what I would like to say too. He's a good dude. Talk to me a little bit about what happened in the Pro 4x4 class. There's a little bit of mix up in some of the finishes, but for the most part, there were 10 entries, which is good for you guys. It's a couple off on the normal, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, as long as we can keep like a +10 number, that's pretty solid for the class. There's definitely been times in my career where I've seen 7 guys on the starting line pretty consistently. So got some young faces in there this year, like Dayton Hickey, Kaden Wharff stepping up a couple years ago. Braden Reed stepping up with them. We got the Brad Harrington this year, and a couple others rotating in. So yeah, it's cool to see different faces up in the class stepping forward.
Right. Exactly. Dayton Hickey got his third podium of the year with another third. I don't know. He's not 1, 2, 3. He's fifth in points. but he seems to be making that late season charge, getting on the podium.
Yeah, keep in mind this is his first year ever racing a 4x4. He comes from College A last year on the 450. He raced. He's the third teammate of my Ken to 9-hour team. Team War drive with me, Gavin Jenkins, and then Dayton Hickey was our other teammate. He never really raced 4x4 to do that event with us for fun. And he decided he loved the 4x4 enough after doing that enough that he moved over this year. So
that's great.
He's been riding awesome. He's made he's made some errors on the 4x4, but found himself in a pinch here and there. He's figuring it out. He should have better finishes than he has, but that's part of learning the machine and learn how to race the pro class with us and on the 4x4. So some of his finishes don't show his riding.
So he's learning. He's a rookie. I mean, he's not a rookie to racing. He's a rookie to racing at that level on a pro 4x4. And it's going to take him a couple of seasons to get it done. Kaden Wharff, finished fourth, moved himself into third in points. Gavin having a couple bad races in a row, or well, not necessarily bad, but not his traditional. Usually he's the third guy in line, putting himself on the podium. He seems to have gotten away from that. Maybe he's trying too hard. Not really sure what's going on there.
He didn't get a great start and kind of got separated from the lead pack. And he was trying to come. I talked to him a good bit. I talked to him Saturday after the race, and he was telling me he lost that lead pack, was trying to make up ground. You came up and over this hill, and it was just a left. And if you didn't ride this quad wide width ridge out of nowhere, you were going for a ride. And he went for a ride from what I hear. So he almost got me first lap.
Really? Is that the issue with not being able to finish the track walk?
Yeah, I mean, that was part of it, if I'd known it was there, but yeah, for both of us, he didn't finish his track walk. I didn't finish mine. Definitely has some stuff out there that'll come up and bite you.
Really? That's unusual for you guys to find something like that, because you've raced most of these places so many times, and it's actually pretty cool that they found a new portion of the track, or maybe you just didn't remember it from years past.
It completely washed away from the years before, and it didn't make you ride the tightrope like that. And it definitely looked different the way you came into it. They kind of turned you into it differently. It snuck up on me, snuck up on Gavin, two pro riders. I tiptoed around it somehow, walked the tightrope, and didn't go over the edge, but it caught Gavin.
Wow, that's unfortunate for him. He salvaged a sixth place out of it, so that's pretty good, to do that. Robert Smith.
Yeah, Bert Smith on the Gen 3 Outlander, Mr. B&R Motors.
B&R Motorsports. Yeah, well, fifth place. Not to get off track, do you think that the development on that chassis is coming along better than you think? Or is it just something that you'll have to get and ride before you take it out on the race course?
Yeah, it's I am skeptical about the endurance of the chassis. I'm excited to see when ATV on Demand, our buddy Joe Toll posts our video about it. Me and Mike Seegers, my mechanic, gave a lot of notes on what the things that needed to be upgraded to be a race platform. Hopefully they take heed to it, make those adjustments. If not, it'll be a good bit of work on the rider's end to make it what it needs to be. Just as far as strengthening up components in the chassis, weak links, stuff that's a little bit more than a gusset kit.
Understood. The aftermarket coming to the rescue of the factories for racing again.
It's not many people push it like we do, and that's our job is to find the weak links. So yeah, hopefully they pay attention and do at least what I think the right thing is, and make a race platform chassis if they're going to bring it to the Renegade. As far like we've talked about it, the performance of it is different. I'm not sold on it just yet. I think it's very interesting. Yeah, I'd have to get one and get it set up and ride it for a while before I made the call making that switch, because I'm very comfortable on the Gen 2 platform.
Right, because you've ridden it for a number of years. I get it. Developing a new machine is developing a new machine. Sometimes you can start the season on it because you're comfortable. Other times you may not even ride it till the next season because you have to develop it all year long.
Yeah, and with no factory support, well, I'm not tempted to do any research myself.
There you go. There you go. The number 1 and number 2 spots switched around. You and Brandon seeming to excite your points battle a little, and go out there and tighten it up. Brandon, took the win this time. It's his second in a row. What was going on out there, Cody?
It was a good day. It was a good day of racing. I Dayton Hickey, third place rider, he got the whole shot, and I was second right behind him. I put pressure on the first few miles. He ended up yielding and let me by in an open section. I led the whole first lap. We got around pretty good. There's 5 of us that just kind of escaped everybody, and there's a 5-man battle for the lead up through 2.5, 3 laps of the race, I'd say, between myself, Frazier, Hickey, Wharff, and Dylan Walraven. The 5 of us were in a pretty heated battle all day. I led the whole first lap. We come out of scoring. I go through, finish the first lap, and taking off to start my second lap. And where they put the banner across to tell the youth to turn off the track, they didn't take that banner back down, so I had to run through it, and it ripped my key out. So little fob keys, and I use as my kill tether. It caught just around my handlebars and ripped my key out. So I lost the lead right there on the first lap because GNCC didn't take down that banner. Dropped back to third and had to battle up from there. So definitely changed the flow of the race for me. Don't know if things would have ended up differently if it wasn't for that. But no, from there, put my head down, charged forward, got up to second at one point after that in later laps. A couple of gnarly bottlenecks, really good racing. Like I said, the 5 of us were in a pretty good battle all day. There's a bad bottleneck halfway through the third lap. Frazier and Hickey took a good line to get around it, and they passed everybody. I was a third rider through, followed their line, got through. They pulled probably 20, 30 seconds by the time I got turned around and got to where they went around it. A good line, good clean line, all good. It was a big bottleneck, get around it where you can. It was a good line. So just put my head down, charge. I ended up passing Hickey and caught Frazier at one point, and there's a rider stuck, and just Frazier got the pivot, and I didn't quite get there, and the lapper was trying to take off, and kind of just got bobbled up. So lost a little bit of time there, and just that was probably at the very end of that third lap going into the last lap, and I just could never make up the time from there. Felt good, felt like I had pace, just flappers were weird, never could get a flow of that last lap to make up any time.
Just worked out for Brandon to take the lead, and just giving himself just enough room on some of those little things that happen so that he could, pull off the victory.
Yeah, you rode a great race. Put himself in a good spot all day. We got in the bottleneck. Me and him kind of stopped and talked in that big bottleneck about where to go. He said left. I went left. He went further left, and I was looking. It was a good line, all good. But yeah, put himself in a good spot. Good line in the bottleneck. Got through it. Kept the gap on me. I made a bobble. I made a couple bobbles out there, and is what it is. So yeah, he put in a great ride. Earned that win. I did what I could to keep him honest. Just didn't have enough.
Well, hey, as long as you guys have a great day of racing and everything's all good with all the riders in the class, that's all you can expect. Great job, and there's always the coming in off for break. How many races are there after break?
4. So this was round 8. We have snowshoe coming up in 3 weeks. So that's round 9, and then we get our summer break, which is like 2-month break, and then it's the last 4. And like I said, this is when you got to start counting drops for classes. I believe the entirety of the youth overall or youth classes, amateur classes only count 9 out of 13. The overalls for the year are 11 out of 13, and your premier amateur class like your women's. 4x4 Pro counts 13 out of 13. Same thing for XC1. XC2 counts 11 out of 13. So you're off to start counting drops for points for class and overall.
So the women's class counts how many races?
I believe 2.
So they're 11 out of 13?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, speaking of WXC, we have an amazing battle going on for that class. But I'm just going to pat myself on the back first off. We talked about Katelyn and the fact that she is, working her way to the front. riding hard. She did it. She got herself on the podium. I don't know how she beat out Jessica, but she did. Andrea Rodgers got fifth. Those two ladies have been trying to push their way closer and closer to the front. And, I just have this feeling that, Katelyn's been doing well, and it seems like she's getting her late season legs, and she's going to do better. Unfortunately, I'm hoping the break doesn't knock her off her pace, but we'll see how she does at snowshoe.
Yeah. No, she's a vet rider of the class. She's going to ride well at snowshoes. She can be able to get through and stay rolling. The problem is that those front two ladies, they're top 5 overall, 5th and 6th overall, or something like that. So it makes it tough when they're there and you're at teens, 20th overall area.
Right. It probably has something to do with making your way through traffic plus overall speed.
Yeah, no, a combination of the two, and being able to get through early and stay away from everybody else's headache is a big deal.
I didn't hear what happened, but Chloe had mentioned in one of the posts that I did read that it was a rough day for her.
I'm not sure what happened to her out on the track. I seen her coming through the finish line. I think her helmet was flush brown with mud. I don't know how long she was touching Hannah Hunter's rear grab bar coming to the finish line, but that lady ate a lot of roost.
Wow. So they were that close at the finish line.
I'll be touching for sure.
Wow. That's a great race. And for those two ladies to be able to perform at that level, you have, 4 wins with Chloe and 3 wins for Hannah. And this is the amazing portion right here. Jessica only has 1.
Yeah, no, she was it round 1 she got the win?
Yep.
And yeah, she started the season off strong, and girls got to get it together. Those other two are coming.
You know what? The worst finish out of the top 3 was a 6th by Chloe, and Chloe does have the point lead. It's down to what is it? It's 10 points.
And that's scary because she's going to get to drop that 6. If she has the worst finish, you get 2 drops. And
Yeah.
she points lead.
Yeah, I mean she drops a 6 and Hannah drops a 4.
Yeah, that helps Chloe. And she already, yeah, it speaks for itself in a really good spot.
Well, yeah, and then if you take a second one, they each drop a 3.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So that means that they're doing great. It doesn't help Jessica one bit.
Yeah, Jess got to start getting some wins, at least seconds. She can't keep getting thirds and fourths.
Yeah, she's got 2 fourths to drop.
Yeah, she got to get it together. If she wants to fight for this title, Chloe and Hannah are fighting.
Yeah, you know what? You can't take anything away from Jessica. I'll bet you she's riding her ass off.
Absolutely.
And it's just she rose the bar. Well, these two ladies answered the call.
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, Jess gonna have to answer that call. She got to step it up. And she did it round 1. She got the win. She's been in spots. She's been in the battles for the lead. So her riding's been there. Not sure what happened at Powerline or this past weekend. But yeah, she's right there. She's got to keep fighting.
Right. You can never give up. It just, you just got to keep it going. Great class to watch, incredibly competitive between those ladies. I really enjoy talking about the class and looking at all the posts and the results. Great gals. I want to get Katelyn on to ask her some questions. Hopefully she'll reach back at some point and come and sit down and talk with me. But great class. Everybody should watch them and get involved with what they're doing.
GNCC should broadcast their race.
Yes, they should. Dude, if I had the dough, we'd be having drones flying over every one of them and being able to post it and put it out there for everybody to watch.
The camera set up. They got the drones there.
Yeah, dude, they should. But We're never going to twist their arm enough to get them to do anything. So this is where we're going to take and pat you on the back because you mentioned this individual specifically about having a good finish and finishing well, and that was Keys.
Yeah. No, I sneaky ride from him, Mr. Dalton Keys. He was made his way up early, made his way up front early, and just stayed there all day.
Right. Knocked it out, did great. You know, catch me up on this one. Keaton Henderson. Have we talked about him at all?
Yeah, we have here and there. He's had a couple top 5 rides this season, I believe. He had a podium in the past at Powerline last year, the year before. I believe it was last year in XC2, but he's a young rider. Got a lot of bike skill. Just got to put 2 hours together more consistently. He's there. He's there. He could be a top 3 contender if he just puts a couple things together.
He's got a couple 4th places. I just don't know how I've skipped over his name, and I'm looking at it here. He's 4th in points, and I'm like, well, how did that happen?
He needs to do more to make you remember it, man.
Well, yeah. Jeremy Wharff and the inconsistency, I don't get it. Jeremiah?
Yeah.
He gets on the podium, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then he's got way back finishes, just dropped him down the points total in a big hurry. I'm not sure what's going on there.
A couple mechanicals. I'm not. I haven't seen what happened to him this past weekend, but he had a couple mechanicals in there. Coker, he was battling for the lead with Simon early, Simon and Gross early, and dropped out with the mechanical. I believe same thing at Powerline. He had a mechanical.
So if they get that taken care of, he could be a front runner very, very easy.
Dude's fast. Dude's very fast. He's got he's a lot of raw skill there.
I got to ask you this. Have you heard anything on Mr. Edmondson?
He himself made a post. It seemed like he typed it up and he made the post, and he took a selfie of himself all done up in the hospital and his gown and everything. Big thing on, big bandage on his head, and he seems like he's doing well. Seems like he's coherent and should be back to his old self. I don't know what the timeline is on it, but things seem positive.
Well, that's great. That's great to hear. Whether he comes back to race or doesn't come back to race, as long as he's healthy, that's all I care about. I hope that he's healthy and gets himself 100%. That's all I care about. So racing really in the big scheme of things doesn't change anything. What do you know about Nick Davidson?
Did he race this past weekend?
Yeah, he got 5th.
He's a really good rider. One of the BNR boys. Ohio boy, I believe. He won the Vet A class last year. I think he won. I don't know if he won every single race, but I think he won 12 of 13, if not 13 of 13 in the Vet A class. Nice. Last year, he ran XC2 a couple years ago here and there. It shows some speed. I think if he had a more solid program, he could be one of the guys in that XC2 class.
Even being a vet rider.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at Chris Borch.
Oh, yeah, he's 40 years old and didn't he get 5th this weekend?
4th.
Well,
out of the old heads, he beat Mr. McGill.
Well, there you go. That's freaking great for him. We'll get into that. But you know what? We're going to talk about the guys at the front of the pack here. Gross and Alex, they freaking did it again. 1-2. They just switched positions from the last round. I wouldn't expect Braxton to get a first place in a more technical environment like this, but I guess he's getting his cross country legs under him and starting to be able to figure it out a little.
Yeah, it's kind of I think this track is a lot like Powerline. How I was saying Gross would do really well at first. It just depends on how bad the track got. This track was kind of the same conditions where I felt like his riding style would do well as long as the track didn't deteriorate too bad. And there's only a couple of sections where you could even think about getting stuck as a top guy. So I think he rolled around just fine and had really good pace. Thyman passed him at one point in the race, and I was standing watching the race at my mechanics trailer, and Thyman pitted there, and Gross passed him back at pit and drag race to the tree line, and Gross got the lead there. So don't know if they swapped any more positions after that, but it looked like they had a good race going halfway through.
Did they come across the finish line pretty close together as well?
I don't think so. I think there was a good gap there.
So something happened at the end of the race to separate them a little bit. Probably lappers or a bottleneck somewhere.
Possibly, you never know. Gross might just had a day and got away. Thyman might just made a little mistake. Something created that gap because there was no gap when I seen him.
What lap was that?
Probably third lap.
Okay. Well, they had a great race, and it didn't do much for the points. There's a 20-point difference there with 2 drops. Gross is going to get the advantage of the drops. It's not going to help. Alex at all, because he's got a 4th, and then the next thing he's dropping is a 3rd. Gross gets to drop 2 9th place finishes.
Yeah, so it's just going to be about stacking wins between the two of them, or at least a game of consistency to some degree, like Thyman's doing. He's not winning all of them, but he's, like you say, he drops a 4th and it's a 3rd.
Yeah, so the drop game is actually helping Gross at the moment, and not Alex. But we'll see how that breaks down. I like the fact that you know these rules so well, so you can give me the information. Maybe one of these days I ought to read and figure it out, huh?
Yeah, I should read them every single year. I kind of glance through it, but I should take them. I should be more thorough with it. But yeah, I do. I've been around a while.
Yes, you have. So, when we talk about our pro class and the XC1, we're always talking about, Bryson Neal and Walker Fowler. Walker Fowler didn't seem to have a very good day. He ran around back there in 8th. Don't know if he was trying too hard. Maybe he got stuck in the mud. Really not sure what happened. I didn't see any posts that explained a whole lot, but I really want to talk about Jay Shadrin, 2nd place.
Yeah, had a stellar ride, dude. Had a stellar ride. He was 2nd lap. He took a line somewhere and got a 3-foot log stuck in his handlebars and rode around with this 3-foot log in his handlebars all day long.
Rode with it all day long?
All day long.
Did he finish with it on there?
Yeah, got 2nd overall with it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a very big stick. It wasn't a stick. It was a very, very big stick. But it was it was the entire distance of the front of his quad. Stuck up in his handlebars.
Maybe he just scared the competition to get out of the way.
So whatever he was doing was working. So he was up front all day. Seemed like he was going to just miss out on that podium. But there's a fierce battle up front between Harper, White, Wilkin, and Bryce Neal. And on the last lap, there's a split line. There's a really long go around for it, and the pro line, which is really nasty. Hunter and Bryce opted to go around it, and Wilkin sent it. Wilkin said there was 15, 20 quads there when he got there. He said he didn't really know about the other line, didn't really trust it, so he sent the line that he knew, and it ended up biting him. He ended up with that P7 for the day. So unfortunate for Wilkin. He was there. He was in the battle, but took a chance. He would have won the race if he would have got through there clean. He would have won the race
because it was a shorter distance.
Yep. If you would have been able to just somehow sneak through there and stay moving, he would have won the race. But it ended up biting. He ended up not getting through. There was too much chaos over there, and dropped all the way back to P7. He actually dropped back to P5 or 6, but his quad was running out of fuel about a half mile from the finish, and they passed pro row about half mile from the finish, and he had to stop and take a splash of fuel and lost another spot or 2.
Oh God, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, so he may have lost the lead anyways.
Oh yeah.
So who knows? Maybe if he got to that bottleneck, it would have saved that fuel. He would have had the fuel to get there. Who knows? But yeah, a heartbreaker for Mr. Wilkin. The 7th does not show his ride. I think he was the best rider, arguably the best rider on that track that day. He was coming. From far back, he was coming.
How did Jay get in front of Bryson?
I believe it was at that split line, and Jay followed, right? And Jay went with them. But I think Bryson kind of went with Wyatt and just seeing how nasty it was and opted to go back.
Okay, so he freaking Hunter and Jay got away, and he couldn't reel them back in.
He was less than half a second off of Jay Shad at the finish.
So he did reel him back in a little bit. Man, what a race. That's pretty awesome stuff. But let's talk about fourth, fifth, and sixth. Chris Borich, Adam McGill, and Austin Abney. How did these three guys come from, last race? They were 10th, 13th, 12th, 7th, and 10th. And now they're fourth, fifth, and sixth. The day with the swapping around of all the different riders and everything that's going on, man, that's pretty awesome for these guys.
Yeah, no, some guys had some bad days, like Walker. I seen him go by one lap and his quad was sputtering real bad. Don't know if he was dealing with that on and off all day. It sounded good every other lap that went by me, but the one lap it was unhappy. So Walker was definitely having a bike issue or two. Josh Merritt, a typical front runner, did not have a good showing. I think he ended up like P11 or something.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about Merritt, Harrell, and John Galata Jr., 11th, 10th, and 13th.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to all of them. They just did not have good days. It seemed like Harrell couldn't move forward. It seems to be something I've noticed with Harrell is that he's struggling right now to pass everybody. I've heard he was very aggressive when he first came to the XC1 class. And I don't know if some people were returning favors or what, or if some people I'm talking to, he's trying to approach things differently. But it seems like he's struggling to get around people right now. It seems like he has more pace. He seems like he can be a top 5 guy, but he's just struggling if he doesn't get the start.
Is it bad to be aggressive?
There's a line. All of us play with it. All of us cross it from time to time, but it's it's racing at times.
Well, if you're faster than the guy in front of you and you have to get a little aggressive to move him out of the way, I mean, if you're consistently finishing in front of those guys, how can they complain?
Well, the problem is that sometimes you're not. You're having on and off days. It's hard to prove yourself as one of the guys. So it's tough. It's tough finding your place and making your mark when everybody's so good. And like you said, the guys that were 7th, 10th, and 12th just went 4th, 5th, 6th.
Yeah.
Abney's had a podium this year. Glauta's had 2 podiums this year. I think Glauta just finished 14th with some issues, but everybody has their bad days.
Yeah, all that momentum he had with that eye deal, it's just like took it away.
Well, he had the seat staples that were chewing him up at the Hoosier, and like I said, I'm not exactly sure what happened this weekend, but the way he was, as far back as he was, that was not John out there. Something was going on.
Right. Yeah, I look at some of these finishes and I'm just scratching my head how they could be so mixed up. Jay's best finish all year is 5th. He's got 2 of them. And then to pop in there and get second, he found something on that race course to excel or lift him up.
I think that with the issues I had in the AM race, I think just the way you would get funneled behind a lap rider for so long, and it really limited the pace.
Okay.
So I think Jay Shad rode a great ride. I think he could have gotten a podium had it been different, but I do think that kindly helped. Like last year with the Dust Bowl where Kaden Wharff led the entire race for 4x4 Pro. I don't think he was faster than me and Brandon straight up. Like if you removed him and just let us do laps on the track, I don't think Kaden was the fastest guy that day, but just position with the dust, he was able to hold us back. Same thing with like Ronnie Rush led 2 laps. Real great race, rode really fast because he was up front and felt like he belonged. But he stayed up front all day with the assistance of the dust. I think if that was a normal day, he would have gotten chewed up a little bit, type of thing.
Right. I totally get it. Totally understand. Where are we going next, brother?
Stone Street, baby. Going to the mountain. I'm very excited for it. I really ride well at the mountain. I don't seem to have the best luck there, but we're excited for it, and I'm ready to head back.
Well, what day is that?
3 weeks from 2 days ago. No, so what is that? June 21st area?
Okay.
June 21st area, somewhere in there.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. That's another one of those epic places to go watch GNCC racing. You can't go wrong. If you wanted to go watch a great GNCC race, Snowshoe would be the place to go.
Absolutely, it's a really good time. If you like the party and you like the after race shenanigans, it's one of the best for it. So it's really cool. We start up on the ski. We start off in the village, on the road in the village, take off from there, go down the ski slopes, go through all sorts of crazy mountainous West Virginia terrain, go through the Howard's Hole, one of the gnarliest mud holes in this side of the Mississippi or whatever. And yeah, really cool event. I really like the property. Super unique. Being on top of the mountain like that, getting to experience the weekend like that is very cool.
The most memorable times for me seeing photos and videos is when it's pouring rain. Is it more often than not wet than dry?
It's almost always wet because you're so high in the sky that in the mornings you're in the clouds. Like the dew is like you think it's dew, but you're in the clouds in the mornings. And so like the youth race, I remember racing youth and just all the ski slopes were just always slick. Just from the dew from the clouds that was just always there. It would lift most of the time by the end of the AM race, for sure by the adult race more often than not, but it definitely keeps it slick in the mornings.
And how does it do for the afternoon race? Without rain, does some of that moisture stay into the course, making it, better racing? Or I know Howard's Hole can be horrible no matter what you do, correct?
Yeah, and I've seen years where it's been totally dry and they didn't even waste their time running us through it. So you see both extremes. You'll have it so dry that no amount of clouds are going to help. I've been there. I've raced it in the torrential downpour. So it was going up the ski slopes, stuck in the rut, and it's just running water at you, and you have no choice but to be in the rut, and it's just throwing water up in your face. So
Do you take goggles off or leave them on?
I keep them on for as long as I can, but at some point they're more harm than they are good.
There again, there's that crazy cross country rider mentality that I take my hat off and just shake my head. You guys are nuts. Totally nuts.
Just try to see as far forward as you can. Know about for how long you're not going to be able to see, and know about how much you need to turn the bars for how long. And then you raise your head, and hopefully the branch will hit you in the face.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Hey, thank you so much. This was round 8, Mason-Dixon. An incredible season so far. Nobody but Bryson Neal is even coming close to clinching his points class. So the battles are still out there and you guys are still going for it.
Yeah, for sure. No, everyone's still racing for something. So
Exactly. I can't wait to talk to you again in 3 weeks.